What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today I'm going to give you a video to explain what unity looks like and what pan-Africanism is, all right? Because you guys don't seem to understand. A lot of y'all don't understand, right? Y'all really don't understand because you're distracted by charlatans and pan-African grifters and scammers and stuff who utilize the sentiment of pan-Africanism, an ideology and an action in of itself, not a club or a group or a tribe, but an ideology, a thought process, and an action, a physical action of itself. You guys need to understand how it works, how it's structured. And I found a video that gives a perfect visual representation of what Pan-Africanism is and why it is that black people globally, no matter what kind of black you are, no matter how proud you are, you should be proud of your ethnic group. You should be proud of your individual tribes and nations you are a part of, no matter where you are in the world. But you need to understand why it's important for you to connect yourself with every other proud, independent group of Africans, because collectively we will be able to all rise together. That's the thing that needs to be beaten into the head of the African diaspora and the continental Africans. It doesn't matter the historical past and the things we've been through. It doesn't matter how we infight. It doesn't matter any of that. None of that matters now. What matters now is the future and what we're going to do to solve the problems that we all collectively know that we have. Right? We can't just continue to talk about the problem. We can't just continue to just complain about the problem. We have to solve problems. We are men and we are women of the sun. We know how to solve problems. We need to be solving the problems that we have instead of continuously complaining and arguing and fighting over those problems. We need to look at the reasons why we are divided, and we need to close those gaps. And we need to have cultural discipline. We need to have empathy to close those gaps. That means somebody, right? Somebody has to begin. I hear a lot of talk about people saying, well, they started it, or they started it, right? Just like this stupid little diaspora war where people complain that the reason why they're talking trash is because the other black people are talking trash, right? And they don't want to stop talking trash because each black group want to get the last word. They want to get the last strike. They want to get the last punch. They want to get the last push. They want to be the last one to say the last word. And you know, we black folks, we always got to get the last word. And what you think's going to happen, right? What you think's going to happen when you get your last hit against somebody that look like you, that's like you, they got the same spirit as you, they got the same blood running through their veins as you. They're gonna do the same thing to you. When you fight yourself, when you fighting another African, you're fighting yourself. You're fighting your own reflection, and you wonder why every time you swing, they swing at the same time. You wonder every time you grimace, they grimace at the same time. You wonder why every time you're talking trash out your mouth, at the exact same time, they're talking the same trash right back at you, because we are mirrors of each other. And with the knowledge of that, somebody has to stop. Now, if you are a African American and you feel like that we are the leaders of the black world at the moment, which we are the leaders. We are the most successful group of black people on the planet by far, right? We are the most successful. We are the richest. We're the most educated. And that is true. Don't let anybody fool you. We are the most educated by far. All right. There's only a few highly educated ones in America, and that's because they were educated before they came over here. That's why they got the special visa. All right. That's just what it is. Right. And we have access to a lot of data, but that doesn't mean that we're any more smarter than all the rest of the Africans. That just means we have more access to it. But that's also based off the strike and the struggle of our group of people. So we deserve that. That can be taken away from us. But at the same time, if we are in fact the leader, we should lead and show by example that we can be the first ones to stop. And we can't just keep reacting just because you see a video of some African talking shit or some Caribbean talking shit. Now you want to get your shot in. But if you're really the leader, then you should be able to stop. Show them by example. Show how mature we are as a group of people. Display that. And I guarantee you they will follow. The same way you insist that they have been following us this whole time, they will follow us in peace. If you are a Nigerian and you think you're superior because, you know, you were only colonized, not enslaved, even though it's the same shit, right? If you feel superior and you're so high and cultured, well, guess what? Show us how high cultured you are and you be the first to stop. Show us non-supposed not having any culture. If you have the culture, show us how good that culture is, and why don't you be the first one to stop? And I guarantee you everybody else will stop. Same with the Caribbeans. You Caribbeans, if you think you guys are so much better than African Americans because you don't have as much proximity to whiteness as we do, and you were able to maintain and control and hold on to more of your African culture, and if you think that you are superior intellectually and that you have better morals, well, how about you lead by example, and once you go ahead and stop, and I guarantee you everybody else will follow suit. If you're not doing it, they're not going to do it. I would add the Latinos, but they're far behind the rest of us, the Afro-Latinos. They far behind. We gotta get our shit together first. And then we get to them mofos, because we gonna have to wrap our arms around those mofos, because they got a whole thing going on, right? But so we gotta stop. If you think you're superior, if you think that you're so great and your culture so big and bad and you got so much pride, show us how you can stand there stoically and stop. Be the first one to stop, right? Be the first one to step and say, you know what? All right, okay, that was a good one. All right, but let me show you this. And I guarantee you they would stand there and be befuddled that I just took a shot at you. You ain't do nothing. And then when they take another shot and you don't do nothing, and then they take another shot and you don't do nothing, guess what? Then they start to look like fools. Then they start to question themselves like, well, what am I doing? He ain't even. Now they don't no longer have the excuse that, oh, well, they did it, so now that's why I gotta do it. They can't say that no more. So then they gotta introspect. They gotta self-reflect. I'm like, well, shit. Let me suck this shit up. And then you may get my bad, you know what I'm saying? I guess I was tripping earlier, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's all good. And then reach your hand out. Give them the reach out that olive branch. And then I guarantee you they be like, you know, you ain't so bad. We ain't that much different. And that's how shit happens, right? Especially since all of us black people seem to be able to do the same thing with everybody else. And they still ain't. Hey, listen, we do that with everybody else, right? We forgive everybody else even though they actively disrespect us. They actively disenfranchise us. They actively try to harm us, and we're still forgiving them and being understanding and being empathetic. Still. So if we can do that with everybody else, why can't we do it ourselves? That's the only thing missing with us, y'all. That is the only thing missing, is that we don't give each other the same grace we give everybody else. And those other people don't even deserve it. We deserve it. Caribbeans deserve it. African Americans deserve it. Continental Africans deserve it. Afro-Latinos will deserve it one day, eventually. Like I said, we gotta work on that. We might need to all work on that shit together. Because some of them, they just, we out of there, all right? But hey, the ones that's holding on, y'all come on over here, Afro-Latinos. But all I'm saying is, we have to unify. And that doesn't mean turning into one glob of Africans. It doesn't mean being one flavor of chocolate. It means we can be every goddamn flavor of chocolate. But guess what? Every flavor of chocolate will lead to another flavor of chocolate. We need to be gassing up and gaslighting all of us into loving each other. All right? And we need to protect each other from everybody else. And we need to work with each other and prioritize each other. All of our businesses, all of our social events, all of our people in struggle. We need to prioritize us. Because think about it. We are the world. Legitimately. Have y'all heard that before? We are the world. We are the world. African people are the world. Right? So we don't need nobody else. We're the only group of people on the planet that can truly say we don't need nobody else. We like legitimately. That's not just saying some shit. We're the only African people are the only people who literally don't need nobody. We don't need shit from nobody at all. Zero. We just need each other. All right. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out, and tell me what you think in the comment section.
This chart to me represents beautiful, educated, moneyed black people all over America. It could represent black organizations, it could represent black churches, it could represent black social and civic organizations. And what you will notice about these beautiful black people all over America is that everybody is doing their own thing. Caught up in a Eurocentric value of rugged individualism, having forgotten that it takes a village to raise a child. There is no power here, brothers and sisters. There is no power here. Power is most effective concentrated. You can take a 55-gallon drum of water, spill it over, it will disperse, find its own level, and eventually evaporate. You can take that same 55-gallon drum of water, put it under pressure, put a lid on it, put a hose in it, put a nozzle on the end of that hose, and it can cut concrete. There is no power with us being disconnected. See, there's nothing wrong with dispersion. I live in Cleveland, you live in Atlanta. We have folk in the Caribbean, we have folk in Africa. That's dispersion. That's okay, but we do not have to be disconnected. We are a disconnected people. We are powerless in disconnection. This is where all the power is. You see? This is where all the power is. Whether you are at the center of your own network or a part of someone else's network, this is where the power is. There's a beautiful African proverb that says, when spiders unite, they can tie up a lion. When we connect, because we are disconnected, we're disconnected from those of like mind. We're disconnected from the best practices in our community. I don't care what it is that you want to do, what profession you want to engage in, what business you want to get into. I can introduce you to brothers and sisters all over America they are doing it to death. You just don't know who they are. You are disconnected from them. There is no power in disconnection. Okay? When we connect, we prevent interlopers from coming into our communities and taking and destroying at will.
All right, George.
Try to open up the Booker T. Washington delicatessen in Chinatown and see what happens. So we must connect. We must connect the dots. That must be the movement for our people in the 21st century. We need a lot of us doing a little instead of a few of us doing a lot. We need to get together.
Africa is kicking the West out and centralizing their gold. And all of a sudden the US says Ghana's unsafe to travel? Everyone should be watching the relationship between Ghana and the Sahel Confederation. Let me tell you why. Back in 2024, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger formed the Sahel Confederation. They vowed to defend each other, to control their resources, invest in one another, and remove Western militaries from their lands. Burkina Faso downgraded the status of the French language, gave French streets African names. Mali and Niger severed ties with Ukraine, found out they were the ops when they supported the killing of Malian soldiers. Then here comes Sweden cutting off aid and diplomatic ties to the region. Then it intensified. April 2025, there was an assassination attempt on Ibrahim Traore, the leader of Burkina Faso. Unsuccessful. Then in May 2025, Ghana took control of their gold trade and deepened their relationship with the Sahel Confederation. So foreigners can no longer buy from local markets. They now have to go through the Ghana Gold Board, so the government can prevent foreign exploiters and generate revenue from their own resources. This is a return to Ghanaian practices dating back to the year 300, when a group of Soninke clans formed their own confederation to control and trade gold in their region. This became ancient Ghana. They sold gold in international markets through the Sahara, across regions where the current Sahel Confederation is, who then sold gold to Romans and Arabs. They needed it to make coins in the Mediterranean, but to keep gold prices high. Everyday people could have gold dust, but only the king could have golden nuggets. When the government centralized and controlled their gold, just like now, they were able to produce more wealth than most of the world. So yeah, the relationship between Ghana and the Sahel Confederation is raising eyebrows in the West, because Africa is stepping back into their power, back into their wealth, and drawing boundaries with their colonizers. That's why in April 2025, the US put a travel advisory on Ghana. They're not telling us where it's safe to go. They're telling us who they have control over.
America's manipulation of Africa is rapidly coming to an end. And here's what happened. 15 countries and soon all 54 nations will be using the Pan-African Payments and Settlement System, PAPS, to trade in local currency. This means they are not using the dollar. And this means the US loses out on about $200 billion in trade. But more importantly, loses power over these nations. It's finances and culture that are driving these nations to eliminate the dollar and not Trump. Financially, PAPS reduces trade costs from about 30% to 1%. The cultural clash is between self-transcendent and self-enhancement cultures. Africa's self-transcendent cultures value collective welfare, cooperation, and win-win scenarios. America's self-enhancement dollar system values power, achievement, control over resources, and the zero-sum game. Neither culture value is right or wrong, each has its place, but the US imposing self-enhancement values in self-transcendent cultures is doomed to fail from the beginning, and we've been here before. 1960s, the French franc zone collapsed because self-enhancement colonial control clashed with self-transcendent independence movements. In the 1980s, the Soviet ruble system failed because centralized control clashed with national sovereignty. And today, the American dollar system is failing because self-enhancement zero-sum culture clashes with self-transcendent collective prosperity. Same cultural pattern, same outcome, different decade. So what's next? In the next several years, we can expect all 54 African nations to use PABs, but the dollar reserve currency status is only slightly weakened since Africa accounts for only about 3% of global GDP and holds limited global reserves. However, America will no longer be able to block transactions and freeze foreign reserves, and this means U.S. power in Africa essentially comes to an end, especially since Trump and Musk eliminated aid to all African nations. So with nothing to entice and no power to bully, there's no reason to succumb to U.S. demands. And this is the slow but accelerating end of American global domination. Follow for more global affairs analysis and join us at culturalperspective.com.
Africans, do you know the main reason why everyone from Asia, Europe, the Americas, Russia wants to be Africa's friend? Apart from our natural resources, here is the main reason why Africa is currently such a hot friend to have. This is the current growth rate of the world, with Africa's growth rate currently leading at 3.18% and counting. Since the 17th century all the way to the 21st century, through endless wars, slavery, colonization, brainwash, brain drain, and segregation, Europe managed to keep the African population dormant and at par with that of their population. Why, you may ask? And the simple answer is, people is God. Again, how, you may ask? Wealth is found in numbers, and morality is dictated by numbers. The highest number of people means the highest number of goods consumed, therefore the highest number of market for their goods, hence the highest number of their wealth and currency. When Africans are many and they love themselves, that means they will only buy from their own people, promote their own culture, entertainment, food, and hence grow their own economy and enrich their own continent. But when Africans are many, yet they hate themselves, brainwashed and scattered all over the world, they become consumers of Asian goods, European culture, entertainment, and become the continent that makes other continents wealthy, while itself it remains poor. There is power in numbers. Therefore, the continent with the highest population should automatically rule the whole world when it comes to wealth and morality according to nature. Looking at the current growth population, Africa is rising at a supersonic speed, so much that it is bound to surpass Asia in the coming years. But also remember that Africa is a phoenix with her black people in the Caribbean and all over the world. So come rain, come sunshine, the future is African, and Europe, the Americas, Asia, and Russia knows that.
Wait. Before you go, for all my subscribers and philanthropists out there, I'm building a solar power community water bowl system in Nigeria. It's going to cost between $5,000 and $6,000. I'm trying to raise money. If you want to participate and help me build this solar power water system, please donate to the Cash App and put solar water in the notes. Solar water in the notes. I'll put PayPal, Stripe, and Zelle. Anyway, thank you. That's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out. Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's pan-Africanism or nothing.